My father, Lieutenant Colonel Anthony C. Shine, United States Air Force, is on the wall, as is his younger brother, my Uncle John. He's Army First Lieutenant Jonathan C. Shine. My father left a legacy of some of the most important character traits that I've tried to embody, and they would be probably courage and strength and integrity and commitment. My father was a strong man. He was strong both in character and physique. He was 6'4" and loved all kinds of athletics and sports, played college rugby and football. He led at home by example. He led in war, in peacetime and in war, I think, by example. So with a father and an uncle on the wall, it's a special place, a special memorial, something that honors what my family has given to this country. I was 8 years old when my father's plane descended a cloud covering on the border of North Vietnam and Laos, and he was listed as missing in action. We had received a series of what they call dog tag reports, reports that pertain or might pertain to him. Some of them had photos of an actual physical dog tag, some had dog tag type information, some had photos of bones that someone claimed were his. And so when I went into Vietnam in 1995, our government had found a tentative crash site in the vicinity of my father's loss and had interviewed some villagers, one of whom had a helmet that he said was his memento of the Vietnam War. When I met with the villager, he gave me the helmet, and when I turned it over, my father's name was handwritten inside it. And when I climbed with him up to the site of the crash, I found large pieces of aircraft that had serial numbers and bags of wreckage. And that was the ammunition that I needed to be able to press our government to go back in and do a full-scale excavation, which they did and did well. As a result of that, we learned my father's fate. During and after the Vietnam War, more than, I believe, 7 million POW/MIA bracelets were issued with the names of men who were prisoner or missing. And people wore them as a public awareness tool. I wore mine for 24 years. As an adult, I actually put my POW bracelet in the casket when we buried my father's remains at Arlington. One of the things that I was most grateful for and continue to be grateful for is that when my father was listed as missing in action, my mom pulled my brothers and I together and she told us the truth. I remember saying, you know, I want my daddy to come home, and my mom said, I want him to come home too. There's an estimated 20,000 children who lost fathers in the Vietnam War, and through Sons and Daughters in Touch, a support organization for these now grown children, we've held some National Father's Day gatherings at the wall and on the grassy knoll east of it. Early on Father's Day morning 2 years ago, as Sons and Daughters in Touch celebrated its 20th anniversary, I got my 5 and 7-year-old children up, and we went down to the wall along with other grandchildren and children of men whose names are on the wall, and we washed the wall. And it was just a really special experience to see my son scrubbing the granite that held his grandfather's name, and to think that he's learning that we honor and remember lest we repeat. The New Education Center is something that we can all be proud of and hopeful about. It's incredible to imagine walking into this New Education Center and seeing a multimedia wall with photos in it that would include my dad or my Uncle John, alongside photos of those who have been lost in Iraq and Afghanistan. At the wall, my dad is included with the 58,000 plus men and women who died and gave their lives in Vietnam. To have the wars and times and history bridged so that he is alongside those men and women of today and maybe of before him, and that again it focuses on the ideals for which they fight and serve. I think it's going to be incredibly powerful.